Hey everybody, welcome back to L&B Outdoors. Are you tired of having banana bales? You know what I'm talking about. Well, if you're having problems with banana bales on your old square beller, stay tuned. Maybe I can help you out. Generally, banana bales is caused by one of two things. Either your feeder fork or your packer forks that's shoving the hay into the bale chamber. Maybe they need to be adjusted to allow to be able to put a little bit more hay, say on the left side of the chamber, or less hay on the left side of the chamber. So take a look at that. But I know on this particular model where my problem lies. And most all you bellers has got them. Check your hay dogs. See that hay dog in there? It's hard to tell, but that framework has rusted out enough where it's allowed to lift up. The welds come undone. So we got to be able to beat that back down where that hay dog, that arm there, will go down farther like the rest of them. They're spring loaded, and what happens as the plunger pushes a wad of hay in, then that hay dog shoves up due to the hay, and as the plunger retracts, that spring on that hay dog holds pressure on that to come back down, and it kind of holds your hay in place so it doesn't get loose again. And if you're having problems like I've been having, you need to check on them, because I can't stand a banana bale. That's just an aggravation pet peeve of mine. Last time I baled here recently, I have a lot of them, and I keep trying to chase it by adjusting it to one side on your bale tensions. That helps a little, but that only masks the problem. So since I did get some cutting done, most of the grass has got to have about a month to grow again. I'm going to try to make these necessary repairs done. Something all the time in farming and haying and machinery. Y'all know that. So what we got to do is we got to get all this hay out of the chamber so we can get in there and look at how much that's rusted down and see if we can't fix that issue. And if I can't get a welder in here, worst case, I'll bend it back in with a hammer and bar, and I'll drill a hole and put a bolt in it just so it'll hold down more. But we're going to make it work. We're going to get it to work so we can keep on baling. Here's a good example of what a banana bale kind of looks like. How it kind of bows to one side and kind of wants to curl up. See, this one's about to fall apart. So once I get the beller fixed, I'll rebale it. Just showing you another example. I can't stand a banana bale. Hopefully we'll get this machine fixed, this beller fixed, and be ready to go. I know it's kind of hard on camera to see this, but if you're looking at this right now, you know, let's play a little trivia game. Leave it in the comments. Which side is more packed? Which side's more loose? I'm hoping y'all can see that. So pause it. Leave a comment. All right, now that you're back, if you follow this trend all the way up, it is the right side. This side has got more hay than this side, and it's looser on this side, and this is more packed on the left side. There's another telltale sign. So let's get these tensioners loosened up. See if we can't drag some of this hay out of there. Get these necessary repairs made. Now that it's out, you might be able to see it a little more. on how much. See how loose that is compared to how that's packed. Strings loose, strings tighter, loose, tighter. So yeah, we got to get that worked on. See if we can get this other one out. I'm gonna have to cut these strings here. And of course, when we go to bale the next time, we'll have to bale a little bit and let it retie itself. That's just part of it. A little wasted string, but oh well. Get these strings cut so we can get in here and get the rest of this hay out. Always fun, you know. Alright, now that we got the hay out, let's get it cleaned off. Do you ever forget where you put your tools sometimes? Or am I the only one that does that? I've been hunting for this thing for the past week and a half. And I remembered I generally keep it in this baler in the tool compartment in the twine department. So I can blow that off every once in a while I'm out in the field or whatever. Yeah. Battery's still good. I just buy the Bauer products from Harbor Freight. It does good for me. What do y'all think about it? Any of y'all got any Bauer products? I like them. I've got several tools that's made by Bauer, so I can keep using the battery packs. All right, there's your chamber, empty of hay. Down at the very end is your plunger. I don't know if you can see them or not. I may have to put you some arrows in here to point. But the far right hay dog that we're concerned about resides about an inch higher than the two on the left. So we need to get that one where it'll go back down farther and maybe catch some of this hay. And it looks like there's a wedge that used to be on the side of the chamber that is not there anymore. So we may have to put us a wedge in there too. That could be part of the problem as well. Let's keep inspecting further. Well, I got one bolt remaining on the wedge that runs vertical in this chamber that I'm trying to get off. And well, I'm having to break out the heavy artillery. And I got to cut this bolt out where I can get this piece off. And that's the wedge piece I'm talking about. We went ahead and got it cut out. We'll get us a piece of angle iron and try to replicate that and get it put back in. So now I got to go find me a piece of angle iron and keep plugging away. Eventually we'll get to that hay dog, but I want to get this done first. Well, I found us a piece of scrap metal. I'm going to try to get some holes drilled and see if we can get this mounted on there. Drill us some pilot holes first. One down, one to go. All right, we'll get us a pilot hole started on this one. All right, wedge is in. That's one thing out of the way. Maybe it'll stay in a while. We'll see. Kind of hard to get in here with this drill. Show y'all with the camera. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get this drilled and bring y'all back in just a minute. Kind of a tight spot to be in. We'll be right back. All right, we got the hole drilled. Now we're going to try to stick a bolt in it, tighten it up, see if that'll pull that frame back together and drop that hay dog a little bit. We'll see what happens. All right, we got the bolt in, and maybe you can see, but it pulled it back down, the framework back together like it's supposed to be. We still have clearance on the bottom side for the plunger and the top side of the chamber. And we got our wedge in, if you can see it. So that's the right step in the right direction. Here in a little while, I'll try to get up there and rebale a few of them bales that's coming apart, just to make sure everything's going to work right before I put it out in the field and get aggravated. Y'all know how that is. I wanted to show y'all something. Some of y'all may get a kick out of it. You know how I always rig things. Well, if you go back probably 2, maybe 3 videos ago, might be the last one, I don't know. Anyway, somewhere back in my videos, we did a brake job on my F-150. Well, when I was baling the other day, I kept shearing bolts and shear bolts, and what it was the brakes on the knotter brake kept failing and the pads were shot. So me being me, I didn't have no spare pads, and if you look them up, they're about $90 something for a few little small pads I don't get. So I shimmed up, drilled holes, made work, and took one of my old brake pads off my Ford truck and put it on there for a brake for your knotter brake. So, can you put Ford parts on a New Holland 315 baler? Yes, yes you can. And I done it. And it works so good, guess what? I'm just leaving it on there. I don't care. As long as it works, I really don't care. But I thought y'all might get a kick out of that. Ford brake pad on the right hand side. Alright, I'm going to get my tools up. See, they're scattered everywhere. Get all this cleaned up. We'll try to get up there and do some rebaling. See how this thing's gonna work. I'm hoping we've got this banana bale situation cured, but time will tell. All right, we got a few more things before we can get ready to try to do a little rebaling. I wanted to clean up some of this trashy twine that's hung in here and trying to get it out of the way. Just leftovers from whenever you have to redo it out in the field or whatever. You know, you're in a hurry when you're out in the field trying to get stuff done before rain comes or anything like that. So we're going to try to get these strings off, and then we're going to grease it. That way we'll be ready to do some baling. Always nice to get eyefuls of sand. All right, I think that's everything. Now our twine routing has already been accomplished because we had some bales in there. We just cut them. So now to start this back over, we're just going to tie these up right here. And the first time it trips and ties, then it'll start back at the knotters again like it's supposed to. So we're going to tie these up. We're going to throw a little grease in it. And I say a little, you ain't got to over grease them. I try to do it about every 300 or 400 bales. I'll put just a squirt or two of grease in all the zerts. Check on everything. All right. So this is a New Holland 315 baler. Sorry about the wind. It just all of a sudden when I go to talking, it wants to pick up. So you got grease zerts here, 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 here. You got one here. And you got one over here. And this is all for the knotter stuff. And then I'll show you when we get to that point. So let me get these greased up. Hopefully we won't run out of grease. We'll start on these easier ones. See if I've got enough. I only put just a little squirt in. A little dab will do you. Alright, you got one on your outboard right here that we're going to get. And then down here on your needle arm assembly, you got one at the very top. On each side of it is where them are at. We're going to get them real quick. So anyway, I just wanted to show you what it where the location's at. Alright, so we're going to move up front now and take this front cover off to expose the gearbox and rod and shaft of what the plunger is attached to. See if I can get y'all in here and show you that. So that's your rod that attaches to your plunger, and And right there is a grease fitting that we'll have to grease. And then there's a grease fitting right here. And I think that's all. That's all I've seen. Then of course your PTO shaft. So let's get this thing rotated. Where that shaft's up. Here's your grease fitting right here. And we'll get some grease in that. Get y'all set down here where y'all can see a little bit. I knew that was going to happen. Just run out of grease. Dang it. It always happens right in the middle of something. Well, let's get this grease gun changed out. Yeah, I say she's about out. Using some red and tacky grease. I try to use that a lot on most everything I got, especially like the disc with the friction bearings and hay rake stuff. It works pretty good. I'm a big fan of it. Of course, it's a Lucas product. Most all your Lucas products are really good. See down in there. So you're going to slide that in here. I think most of y'all know how to work a grease gun. But for the ones that don't, now you got, and these are plastic. And see, that's why I hate plastic. The mess breaks. See if we can't get it popped open with a pocket knife. Come on now. Work with me here. I don't know if y'all can see that, but there's a little air purge right here where you can bleed the air pocket off the top. Makes it easier for this to pick up grease. Kind of prime, if you will. Well, it'd help if I put a battery pack back in it. A little greasy. we're going to get that one that's down there. Then we'll move on to the PTO shaft. Alright, we did get that one. And I noticed right here on the flywheel, there's 1, 2 that we got there. Then we got our U-joints, all 3 sections. So all of them are done. We're going to get this cover put back on. Then we'll test run it. Run it a little bit, let it cycle a little bit before we ever put some hay through it. And I'm going to try to lube up all these chains. There's a lot of chains on this system. And I bought some Berryman chain and lube lubricant. Give that a try and see if that works any good. I most of the time just use PB Blaster, but anything that's labeled for chain, I think that might work. We'll see. Y'all can see down in there or not, but it's wanting to get hung up on the bill hook right here. We got to try to get that unhooked. See how it's got a double line right here and it's wanting to bunch up. See if we can get that undone to kind of see what in the world's going on. Well, I think that's a lot better string uniform than what it was before. Even though this is kind of a loose bale, because it takes you 4 or 5 bales to get a feel for what kind of tension you need. But I think fixing that hay dog done it. Let me shut this tractor off where y'all ain't got to hear it run. Oh, that's so much better, quieter. Get the battery disconnecting. Boy, Tonka truck, he's ready to play with some Tonka trucks. So yeah, remember me telling you, you're gonna have a little bit of wasted string. But they're tying right now. You see them on the bill hook on each one of them. Bolt still in place. Each one of them's tying. There's your knot right there on each one of them. And like I say, it'll take a couple of times out in the field to get your tension the way you want it, but uniformly, I don't know if y'all gonna be able to tell it looking straight up and down. But you know, remember before, this was way out here with a lot of loose hay, and this was back in tight. They're both equal now. That's mo better. I like that. I'm glad of that. So, everything seems to be working right. Forward brake still holding. We're gonna run with it. So now here in about a couple, 2 or 3 weeks, I don't know, when the grass gets ready to be cut again, we're gonna cut it, we're gonna rake it, and we're gonna bale it. I think realistically I've got one more cutting and 2 of the fields coming up pretty quick, and I have 1 cutting and 2 of the other fields that'll be there towards the end of season. But that's just part of the hay season. We'll get our pickup head picked back up. And I'll get my pitchfork stowed away. So I'll keep it in here with a cooler. Alright. Well, that's just awesome. I'm glad we got that fixed. You know, time will tell more when we get out in the field, but just early testing, it's a whole lot better. Oh boys, it is a hot one today. But I think our repairs that we've done to this baler, I think it's going to work. Just with a little testing that we just done with a few bales, seems like the bales are better. Seems like the hay is getting grabbed by that hay dog and that wedge a lot better. It's more uniform. So hopefully we won't have no more problems. And hopefully this helps some of y'all out. You know, like I told you before, them banana bales is a pet peeve of mine. You can't load them right. You can't stack them right. People come to get them and then they tear apart. Then you got to go back to the barn, rebale them. It's just an aggravation I don't want to have to keep going through. So hopefully we got this problem solved. But listen, I want to talk to y'all real quick. I appreciate every one of y'all. I appreciate all the subscribers that I do have. Let's kick it up a notch. I need to keep going on the subscriptions. I know you hear everybody on the YouTube channel say, hey, I need subscribers. I'm going to do my bit. I think we're up to 600 now. I appreciate every one of y'all. Let's keep driving that on up. Hit that like, share, subscribe. Comment. Let me know if you think I'm doing something wrong. Maybe we can figure it out together. If y'all got any suggestions for new videos, let me know. But I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good one, and we'll see y'all in the next video.